Good morning. Today is the 27th of January 2025 and I'm going to go through my trading plan and my levels I'm watching for today. Before we start, let's look to see what news could potentially move the market. 8:30, we had a little tiny bit semi-volatile. What happened at 8:30? We didn't really see much. Hang on, 8:30, just looking on my... So yeah, no reaction at all to the Chicago Fed National Activity Index. That's a 2 out of 3, but we do have quite high volatile news coming in at 10 a.m. this morning. So we got the new home sales and we got the Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index at 10:30. So just be a bit wary 10 and 10:30 today, as these could potentially move the market. Okay, so let's quickly go over today's level. You can see we've had this massive big push, this big gap down from Friday. I've got my pen. So this is our Friday candle. We had a bit of a red day, and if you've tuned into these pre-market videos over the last week or so, I've been talking about this divergence in the market, and I said that is a sign of weakness. We're coming into a double top area as well, all-time highs. We've got decline in volume but increase in price, and you know, when you see that, you know there's some sort of divergence going on and some sort of market weakness, because price is increasing. We had all these green days but volume was decreasing, so the buyers are losing interest from this move up. And then finally the sellers came in on Friday, which is a small red indecision day, but notice the increased volume on that day. So that's our first sign that we might see a reversal, and it's a smaller bar than the previous day, but it had more volume. So and then we saw this big gap down. In fact, I'm a little bit annoyed at myself because I had a note on Friday. I'm a scout leader, so Friday afternoons I'm not around, but Friday night I wrote down in my journal to potentially look for a short on SPX or QQQ. I was really looking at ES or SPX, not SPX, I meant SPY, and I missed it. So look at that, I should have taken it then, but I didn't take it. I just wanted to see what the next candle brings. I want to see it basically put in an equal high or a lower high, but I wouldn't expect it to gap down like it did. So maybe I'll still look for a swing play. If we get back up into this region here, maybe I can look for a short back in that area. Like I said, I always keep an eye on previous times we've reached these areas. Last time we was at that area, we had a big reaction to it, and the next time we got to that area, we had this big reaction to it. Not quite as much, you never get the same reaction the second time round, but you know, we had the reaction. And there was one more pattern we could be looking at, and that's this inverse head and shoulders pattern potentially, and it could signal continued movement up. Obviously you've got to take into fact that we've got reduced volume coming into the market, and let's see where the volume and candle ends today. So an increased volume on that small candle, and if we have a bigger sell-off today on bigger volume, then maybe that's just showing us where the ending volume is. So let's just go down to the hourly and pick up some levels. Because of this big move, it's really hard trying to find decent levels, but we've got a few bounce areas. Look at this area where we bounced in the pre-market low, 59.50 area. We had that level already marked out, and we bounced 59.50. It's been an area we've been on watch for some time. In fact, it's an area we've been watching since we were here, this area of confluence. And what I'm looking at is spikes in the order profile, in the volume profile, and that's why I was confident this is a good level of confluence. So it's bottoms of candles, tops of candles, and we came right into it in the pre-market. So I'll potentially watch that area again today, 59.50 area for a double bottom for bounce. Otherwise, rejections, I'm looking at this little bit of volume, these volume shelves here, probably the level we've already got. Big area of confluence, we consolidated there, we broke through and retested it, broke through, retested it, retested it, and then held it, and then we just died. You know, we just killed it at that point. So if we get back up to the pre-market high, I'm looking for a potential rejection to go with this into this downtrend. But my real rejection area I'll really be watching for would be up here, pivot, break, retest. So that's confirmed itself as a major area of resistance now. It was support. So I'll be watching this region 6100 to 6120 for a rejection if we can get back up there, and that would basically be the gap fill as well. And that's it. I'm going to keep it really simple. Obviously I'm going to keep an eye on pre-market low, pre-market high, break and retest. Obviously pre-market high now is going against the trend, whereas the last few days pre-market high has been with the trend. I made a few good trades, so pre-market low will be with the trade. So I'm looking for a bounce, but if we lose that level 59.50, I'm looking for a break and retest. And that's it. Pretty much easy planning for today. Let's look at SPY next. We will look at order. Let's just quickly flick to the order flow screen because there's not much going on. We had that big sell-off coming to that area. I was watching for the bounce 59.50. This area here. So this is the 2-minute the 2-minute candlestick chart, and this is cumulative delta. It just tells you where there's aggressive selling and aggressive buying. So you can see had aggressive selling come in. We're well down in the negatives as well. You know, we haven't seen negative selling, you know, aggressive cumulative delta like that for a long time. And price is putting in new highs on that bounce, but cumulative delta is not putting in new highs, not able to get over this area. So potentially we will obviously get natural aggressive buying coming in at the end of a big move down, but potentially we could be looking, we could have already started the rejection in the pre-market. $30-minute chart, there's nothing aligned. Look for aligned point of controls. And what would be in that I'm looking for, the yellow bars, these are tells you where the highest amount of volume is. That's the point of control in each bar. So we've got some alignment. I can't get my pen to start. This area here is a potential area to watch, 59.90. We might see a bounce there, but there's no major volume. So right now I would probably not pay too much attention to the order flow, and unless we're getting to one of the levels we're watching. So let's flick back to my main screen. And then one more thing I do want to add in is the fibs level. So that high there to that low there. So these are areas we could potentially watch. In fact, I did say watch pre-market high for potential rejection, which is this zone. We've got this big volume spike there as well, volume shelf. And we're coming into this zone. There's also the 618. Look at that, 618 and the 50% of that if we were to take that entire move. So if we pull back up into this region, this is another what's the word I'm looking for? Confirmation. We could potentially be looking for rejection, but I'll be watching volume and order flow for confirmation. But you could watch the 50% and the 618 on the fibs as well. And then obviously if we get back up to here, there's that gap fill. We've got this lovely point of control just below area zone we've been watching over the last few days. So I'll be looking for a rejection coming up into that zone and then coming back out of that zone. I'll be looking for the confirmation. So we've got a few areas of potential rejections, but I'm going to keep it nice and easy, keep it really simple, and just watching for break and retest of pre-market low, break and retest of pre-market high. I do quite like the bounce down this region as well, only because we've got volume here, we've got an area of confluence, bottoms of candles, tops of candles, bottoms of candles, and we bounce down the pre-market but on low volume though. So if we come back down to that area, I'll be looking for a bounce. 590, sorry, we're on SPY, but it's the same as ES as well. So let's just go back to ES. So exactly the same levels, SPY and ES. And the 50%, I'll just put the fibs in as well. Look at that, coincides with one of our levels as well. So watching for the gap fill, that's the rejection at 61.22. Pre-market high, we can watch that area, is an area confluence. We've got volume shelf, sorry, pivot, and we broke through. If we can watch it come back up into here, look for a rejection back down. Otherwise, we can look at to come back into this level here, which is tops of that pivot there, bottoms of that pivot. We do have a little bit of a volume shelf as well above, so that's right on the 618. So keep an eye on this area for potential rejection as well. But really, I like this area up here, which is the gap fill for the rejection, 61.22. And obviously, if we lose pre-market low, we don't bounce, put in that double bottom, we can watch for the break and retest short. So SPY have literally gone through the levels. Good morning, Charles. Hopefully you had a nice weekend, and here's to a good day for us and a good week. I like these big moves, even though it's hard trying to find decent levels after a big move down, because obviously the ATR is already moved quite a lot. I find it more interesting to have levels above and below than we do just if we're putting in all-time high after all-time high after all-time high, because there's nothing we can short up here. Now we've got short levels and we've got long levels we can watch. So hopefully, Charles, will have a good, it's going to be a good week. I've got a feeling it will be. SPY, let's watch for the double bottom here at 590. So double bottom. Otherwise, we're looking for it to break down, come back up and retest pre-market low 590 for the short. We do have some other levels we can keep an eye on, a bit of confidence there, but notice the lack of volume in that area, so I'm not too worried about that level. But this is the main level I'm watching for the bounce. So this region here, it's this inverse head and shoulders pattern, and last time we were on that right hand shoulder, we had this big move up, so potentially watch 580, 579 for the bounce. And again, we can watch this region here for the rejection, big volume shelf. Oh, that's the point of control. Massive area of confluence, lots of volume, 607 to 608. And I think that's pretty much into it. That's our previous pivot from before, and this is new all-time highs as well. So if we come back up into this region, we could potentially be looking for a lower high, maybe to continue that trend back down. SPX levels hopefully should be playing out. Where are we going to be? How far did SPY move down? Hard to know until the market opens, but we came down to that last pivot. So let's have a look at SPX. The last pivot maybe down this region here. 6,000 is a key area, so keep an eye on 6,000. So if we open above 6,000 and we're looking for a bounce, then just keep an eye on that 6,000 number for a bounce. If we open below or break down below 6,000, look at for the rejection. So let's just mark that up. I'm going to use that one there. I'm going to make more use of that one. What I'm doing, I had a zone, that was a zone. I was just too lazy to draw an actual zone. I just put two lines in, but we've got bottoms of candles, tops of candles there, and we've got the point of control. So that's kind of a zone. And like I said, I don't use these lines as lines. I use them as zones anyway. So when I look at these lines, I see it like that basically. But I had that zone put in place to mark the bottoms of the tops of those candles and the bottoms and the tops of those candles. So 6,000 is a key area. We can see that massive area of confluence. We've got the volume shelf there, not quite the point of control. So let's watch where we are. If we're coming into 6,000 when the market opens, we can watch for a potential bounce. Okay, NQ next. I've not looked at NQ yet today, so let's see, pick up some level. In fact, I've purposely kept all my charts. I know we had a bit of a sell-off because I heard it this morning, but I purposely didn't open any charts because I just wanted to just be fresh when I open up now. We've got this area of confluence. Let's just mark it now. That area, in fact, that's where the pre-market level low was. So bottoms of these pivots, bottoms of these pivots. And what I was really looking at, I was looking at this. It just happens to be where pre-market low is, that little volume shelf. You know, I like these volume shelves because that shows us where aggressive orders were placed last time. You know, so we can potentially expect there to be buyers or sellers at these levels as well. And we can see we had a big reaction to that level earlier. So buyers who were previously there, we bought there, will be defending that area, 2078. So let's keep an eye on that. Whereabouts are we now? We are just above 21,000. So that's the only bounce I like for a double bottom, that region there. And then looking at pivots, I like to cross-reference pivots with volume shelves as well. So we've got this region here, area of confluence, 21,500, 21,600. We can watch for potential rejection. Pre-market high, again, there's not as much volume there, but we could keep an eye on it. It is an area of confluence. It's a big, more of a zone really. So let's keep an eye on pre-market high. First, a break and retest into that area, or potential rejection. Pre-market low, bounce for a double bottom, or a break and retest. And then if we get back up into Friday's low, this region here, I do quite like that for the rejection. Also, there's a volume shelf as well, and that level is right at the start of that volume shelf, so right on this area of confluence as well. So an area I'd be watching for a potential rejection, and that is 21,750 to 21,800. QQQ. Again, watching this pre-market low 502 all the way down to 500 for a bounce. If we lose this region, pre-market low, just be a bit where we've got 500 below, which is a round number and a psychological number. A bit thicker. So if we lose it, we want to see it come back up into this 500, into this zone I've just drawn, and then catch it coming out of that zone. So on my chart, I would probably just mark up the zone from the bottoms of pre-market low to the bottoms of that, basically that area there. And we can watch for both a bounce, and the bounce is only valid once it goes in and comes out. That's be our entry. Maybe if it comes out and retests that zone and then pushes up, or we can watch it for the breakdown and the retest into that zone, and then when I get into my trade, I'll be looking for it to come out of that zone, maybe come back and retest like that. That's how I look for my plays. If sometimes I get a bit impatient, I may just take a small position coming out rather than wait for the retest and then add to it there. But I'm trying to get away from this impatient play and just want to be patient. So that's the zone. 500 to 501.67 for the bounce, basically pre-market low 502. And then we can watch, I do quite like, there's a volume shelf here. We've already marked it up as well, which is that grey shaded area, and that's a gap fill. So if we come back up into this region, we can look for the rejection back down. And I think that's it with QQQ. Oil, I do quite like. We're in this downtrend. So trend continuation, although we did bounce off this trend line. And we could be looking at a change of trend, but we need to break out over pre-market high, yesterday's low, yesterday's high. 70, basically 75 isn't the key area to watch for the break and retest long. And then we've got a few levels. We've got this zone here, big area of confluence, 76.33. We've got a volume shelf there. We do have a volume shelf below as well, right where that level is along here. So it's going to be hard if we break out from pre-market high. We've got to get over that volume shelf and then come back and retest basically. Otherwise, bounce area, where we are right now is a bit of a volume, but we've got this void below, and then the next volume is not until we get back down to this region here. Probably the best region for the bounce would be this area of confluence down here at 72. Gold. Didn't sell off as much as we saw ES or NASDAQ. We got this level here. It's a big volume shelf as well, so keep an eye on that. 27.47, 27.50. So let's watch for a bounce in this region. Looking stronger than the market right now. It didn't sell off, so I do quite like that for a bounce. We are in this big uptrend as well. I can probably get, that's not a very good draw line. This is our uptrend. So let's watch for a bounce around this 27.50 area to continue this uptrend. And then don't really like rejections, but we could also be looking at a change of trend, head and shoulders pattern. if we break down and come back and retest that level. But let's not talk about change of trend until we physically see it. Russell 2000, RTY. Again, it's holding itself a bit better than ES and NASDAQ. Just a thought, I've not even looked into this, but what was the reason for the sell-off over the last few days? If you know, let me know. I'll be interested. I've not looked at any news whatsoever. So the world could be at war. If I would know, I wouldn't even know, because I've not paid any attention. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a volume shelf there, followed by a level we've been watching, 2300 psychological number. So we are in this rejection area, pre-market high. So let's look for two levels: break and retest long out of this area, long, or the rejection, and then pre-market low, break and retest a pre-market low at 2280. And then the bounce, we can't ignore this point of control. It's where the major amount of volume is on this chart, and a big area of confluence. And the last time we got back down there, we poked into it, little poke, and then big reaction back up again. So let's keep an eye on this 2255 area for a bounce. And then Dow Jones, which is YM, has sold off a bit, broken this trend, as you can see. So that's our uptrend. So let's keep an eye on, I'm looking at the volume area. So we've got this volume, Friday's high, and then the next area is this area, pre-market high. So let's keep an eye on pre-market high, this area here, for two plays. Break and retest long, we're getting over this volume, and then if we do get over that, we're moving into this void, so it might move a little bit easier up until we get to Friday's high. Otherwise, we're really looking for the rejection to continue this trend back down. And then pre-market low, break and retest of 44,000, psychological number. You can see why it bounced, big psychological number. But if we lose 44,000, break and retest, short. And we do have a bounce then down at 43,700. Big area pivot there, bit of a area confluence there as well, so can keep an eye on this area for a bounce. And we do have a little bit of volume coming in as well there. We do have some volume at pre-market low, so we need to get below that pre-market low area. And then finally Bitcoin. I've just seen Chinese AI threatening NVIDIA. Ah, okay, so it's NVIDIA what's caused it. So NASDAQ's down, which is why some of the smaller, what you call it, NASDAQ and YM is not as affected. Chinese AI threatening NVIDIA, okay. Yeah, NVIDIA is very overvalued, I agree. Okay, thanks for that, appreciate that. Bitcoin, I'm just looking at this amazing point of control level. I've been playing Bitcoin, day trading it, and using the MBT, which is the futures Bitcoin, which is exactly the same prices, follow the same pricing, but it's the futures version of it. And I've been doing okay out of it. The level's been paying out. In fact, I just added to my Bitcoin position at 100,000 today. Not much, just a little tiny amount. I've been adding to it all the way through this, just through just little bits here and there. But I added a bit more today. Like I said, if it gets 100,000, I'm going to add, which I did. I missed it when it got down to there last time. And if it gets back down to 92,000, I'm going to add again. And so let's go to the daily. I can also add another one of these in. I like to just keep a note on where I'm adding. So it's 100,000. It's probably about there. Add. Because it might even be that I've added and we're so extended that it's going to come all the way back and I'm going to lose on that little bit. But that's why I don't mind adding little bits here. So I've been adding heavier around here, and then I took an add there on a break and retest. So again, you know, you probably gather from my videos, I like the break and retest. And then I was taking profit all along here, and then I want to add, we're holding this 92 level, and this 1000 level I think is a critical level as well. So, but that's just me, so I've added that in. So let's go back to the hourly, find some levels. Okay, if we break pre-market high, I do quite like it to trend upwards back into this area before we add this big sell-off. I imagine related to Bitcoin. Let's make my cursor a bit bigger. There we go. Otherwise, if we lose pre-market low, let's look for a break and retest. Short, but we're right in between areas. Maybe if we come back to the 100,000, let's watch for a bounce as well. Just there. Key area, we have a little bit of volume below this 100,000, and so where that level is, it's kind of marking the area where the volume starts kicking, where this volume kicks in. So maybe 100,000 exactly, we look for a bounce in that area, just a day trade. One more pattern to point out as well is this pattern. And I didn't see it last week, to be honest. I've only just noticed it now, a bit late. But I do quite like these patterns. It's in an uptrend, and then it's gone sideways, and it's starting narrowing down. And then we're either going to make one or two plays, a break and retest short. We haven't yet done the retest, so potentially we can come up here. If we get back up to here, watch it for the rejection, and that'd be the break and retest of that pattern. Obviously, if it breaks through Friday's high, Friday's low, then it's invalidated, so that pattern doesn't exist. And obviously, taking the bigger trend into account, you know, we have the market stages. You have stage, the first stage, second stage, the third stage, and then the fourth stage. But if we are reaccumulating, which we could well be, this could be part of this stage here. Push up, go sideways, push up, go sideways, come down, go sideways, come down, that stage. And that's it, I think. There's no more levels really to watch. Rejection and a bounce down here. And then obviously trend continuation. Order flow. Market opens is open right now actually. Any order flow. So green candle on the candlesticks, red aggressive selling on the cumulative delta, so keep an eye on this. There's a little bit of a delta right now. You've got increase in price and decrease in delta, so which means that the buyers absorbing the sellers. Okay, right, that's me done. I need to check my alerts, what's coming through, because I obviously do a lot of swing trading as well. Appreciate you watching. If you like the content, please hit the like button and subscribe, and I will be back tomorrow at 9 AM Eastern time, but I will be on the live order flows, which is on this channel, and I'll be in and out watching that most of the day. Okay, appreciate everyone for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.